All right, guys, our guest tonight is WWE superstar Bad News Barrett. How you doing tonight?
I'm real good, thank you. I'm very excited for our show today. I'm here waiting for Monday Night Raw to start. So, I thought I'd speak to you guys in the meantime.
Oh, well, that's so nice of you. We appreciate your time, man. Well, listen, let's get right into it. The Intercontinental Championship Tournament culminates with the title match at Extreme Rules on Sunday, May 4th on the WWE Network. After so many months away from the ring, honing your craft as Bad News Barrett, you jump back and ring into this tournament. How would it feel to capture the gold at a pay-per-view of this magnitude?
You know, it's always good to be on a pay-per-view with WWE. That's never a given. So, first of all, you have to work your way onto the pay-per-view, and then to be involved in a title match is pretty cool, especially after how long I've kind of been out of the ring. I think it was back in August. I kind of disappeared off TV for a while and then came back and just started talking. So hopefully, fingers crossed for me, I'll beat RVD tonight at Raw and then go on and take on Big E at the pay-per-view at Extreme Rules. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Mike, you all right?
You've been Intercontinental Champion on 3 occasions already, but now that the WWE and World Heavyweight Championships are unified and there's less titles for all the superstars on the roster to vie for, do you feel like maybe winning the IC title this time around might mean more to you in terms of being a launching pad to the main event scene?
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, I think any time there's more focus on a particular title, the better it is for the title holder. I think with the reduction in the number of titles that are available, as you mentioned, with the combined World Heavyweight and WWE Championship titles at the moment, I think it definitely puts a lot more emphasis on the Intercontinental Championship, and also considering the fact that the Shield have kind of had the US title. Obviously, Dean Ambrose has been carrying that for a while. He's not really been defending it at all. I can't remember the last time he even defended it. It feels like about 6 months or so that he last defended it. So I think that puts even more emphasis on the Intercontinental title as the kind of main secondary title in WWE at the moment. So definitely I'm keen to get my hands on it and pick up that IC title once again for the 4th time.
BG?
Yeah, the tournament to become the number 1 contender for the IC Championship has been well received by fans. What are your feelings of tournaments in professional wrestling, and would you like to see the King of the Ring tournament make a return to WWE?
Yeah, personally, I love tournaments in any sport, really. I think American sport especially is kind of set up in that kind of playoff format where you knock teams out to get through to the next round and stuff. And obviously World Cup soccer is set up in that way too. So, I mean, for me, tournaments are great. It gives the fans a reason to be invested in something. It's not just a series of cold matches. You know, it's a number of matches where something is at stake ultimately. And I think that's one of the key things for driving kind of fan interest in the matches that we're putting on, and certainly the more of them we can put in, the better. I think it actually means something when someone does get to a final and to take on the champion. It means he's actually had to work pretty hard to get there. So, yeah, hopefully that means fans are more invested in it, and I think it provides for some good entertainment. And as you were saying about the King of the Ring, I was definitely a big fan of that when I was younger, so certainly if that comes back, I'd be very supportive of that.
Listen, as you mentioned before, 4-time champion is what you'd be if you won the Intercontinental Championship again. That's a league company. There are a few men who've ever done that. A list that includes RVD, Razor Ramon, Edge, Triple H, Chris Jericho, and a few others. What would it mean to you to see your name on a list with stars like that?
I mean, it'd be pretty cool. Ultimately, I'd like to have just held it once and had it for the entire time for the last 3 years or whatever it's been since I last won it. So the fact that you're a 4-time champion, if I do become a 4-time champion, obviously, which is what I'm hoping, also means that you've probably lost it at least 3 times anyway, and possibly 4 times by the point the statistic comes out. So, you know, it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. But, I mean, to be always in that mix and challenging for titles like that is important for me. I always want to stay relevant on TV and involved in important angles and things like that. And certainly holding the Intercontinental title is a big part of that.
MJ?
The genesis of the Bad News Barrett character took place on non-televised WWE programming on the JBL and Cole show. And knowing how well the fans have responded to you so far, do you expect that more superstars might kind of follow your lead and utilize other media platforms in order to get themselves over in the future?
I can definitely see that happening. I think I've kind of been the first success of a kind of character that's been born on WWE.com, and I think that's the way of the future. WWE has always been very proactive in using technology and using Twitter and things like that for, being on the cutting edge of whatever's developing in that form. So the fact that we were able to try something out on social media, it got a response on there. Our creative team heard about that response and kind of got interested from there. So the fact that I was able to do that away from TV programming, which is kind of hard to get time on when you're trying to debut a new character or something like that, it's obviously worked out pretty well for me. I'm sure other people have probably seen that and decided to come up with some ideas of their own. So things like the JBL and Cole show, which we put on YouTube, which is kind of where the vehicle I use to get my character out there, and obviously our Twitter accounts and various other things we put on WWE.com and the network. I think in the future you're going to see some people throwing some stuff at walls and seeing what sticks on there.
BG?
What made you decide to take a chance on the Bad News character, and how do you anticipate the character evolving in the future?
Okay. In terms of taking a chance on it, to be honest with you, at the time when I kind of came up with it, I really wasn't doing too much on the show. I was having a lot of kind of cold matches. I wasn't really involved in any programming or storyline. I was on TV a lot, but I wasn't really doing anything creatively. So I kind of felt like I wanted to do something different. The guys from WWE.com suggested that they would like to use me in some way on their JBL and Cole show, so I had to think about it. Cody Rhodes actually came up with the idea originally about a guy who just keeps on giving bad news to everyone, which is kind of a reflection of my personality in the locker room, I suppose. And I think he was just joking about it. But as soon as they suggested it to me, I said, what the hell? Why don't we try this? Let's try and come up with something for this character. A guy just comes and keeps giving out bad news. And thankfully, it seemed to work in the format we were using it at the time, and people responded pretty well to it, and we took it from there. But in terms of how it will evolve, it's very difficult to predict. I mean, I wasn't expecting people to be cheering me at the Hall of Fame when I came out to give bad news, and the kind of response I've got lately is almost like a kind of babyface response where people are looking forward to hearing my bad news, which wasn't something I anticipated. So really, it's something I'll just go with the flow on that and see how people respond, and that really dictates a lot of how the character will evolve as the kind of fans respond.
All right, last round of questions. There has never been an English World Heavyweight Champion in WWE history. Does that discourage your crusade to become the top star in the business, or does it motivate you more to achieve something of that magnitude?
I always felt as a kid that Davey Boy Smith should have been the World Heavyweight Champion at some point. He was my guy. He was my favorite. And then you can look at William Regal again and say he's somebody who, in my opinion, should have held the title at some point. So certainly I think there have been times in the past where people could viably have held that title. It just, the pieces didn't fall into place, so to speak. So certainly I feel like I've got all the ability to do that. I think I have the potential to be the number one in WWE. Hopefully I'll carve out those opportunities myself and then get to carry that title. I don't feel like it's a monkey on my back, or I'm carrying the weight of expectation from people in England on my back at all. But like I said, I'd love to be the guy who finally does it and be the first English world champion. But I think that's a little way off at the moment. I need to get myself back up into the main event. I was there in 2010. I got pretty close in 2010 when I was with the Nexus, but unfortunately I slipped away after that. So hopefully now I'm back on the climb, and I'll get myself to that main event and fingers crossed get a shot at that championship.
Mike, you all right?
WWE has a huge European tour coming up in May, and knowing how popular you are with the fans over there, especially in England, do you feel like that presents you with an opportunity to kind of capitalize on your current momentum and maybe take that next step and reach that next level in your career?
You know what? I love going out there. I love the kind of response I get from the fans out there. I get it. I was a huge fan of Davey Boy Smith when I was a kid, and for all his talents and for how great he was in the ring, the key thing I liked about him was the fact that he was from the same place as me. So I understand people being patriotic and supporting their guy. Whether that will springboard me into something else, I'm not sure, but hopefully so. From my point of view, obviously I want to take my career as far as I can, but for me, I always look forward to kind of April, May time, and then in November when we go over twice a year to the UK, and the kind of response I get out there is just incredible. So it's a real honour for me to be going back there and seeing the British fans and getting my family along to shows and my friends and stuff like that, and hearing familiar accents and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to take it for what it is, go there, enjoy myself, have as much fun as I can, and if something comes from it, great, but if not, then it's a good experience all the same.
BG?
You originally set the tone for NXT. What are your feelings on the current state of NXT, and do any of the wrestlers there reach out to you for advice and guidance?
I'd say I've been really impressed with what I've seen of NXT. I've been involved in 2 developmental systems in my time with WWE. I was at OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, for a short time before WWE kind of severed links with that and then moved everyone to FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling in Tampa. So I was involved in 2 there, and there was definitely a progression from OVW to FCW in terms of the improvement in the facilities and the trainers we had available to us. It was a big step up, and I think once again that's now happened. Now FCW has transitioned over to NXT in Orlando. I think they've got a much better facility again. They've got more trainers, more things available. Just some of the technology to have available at their hands is incredible. So I think it's a company like WWE, whatever it's doing in every area, we're always looking to improve, and developmental is no different to that. So I think they've done some really cool things there, and the guys and girls who are working down there at the moment to get up onto the WWE show have got some great opportunities for them, and I think that's really beneficial for the future of our industry. And in terms of people reaching out for advice from me, I don't really know too many of the guys down there too well, but certainly there's a couple of the British guys down there who'll text me and email me and, keep updating with me and stuff like that. So certainly I think the British guys kind of feel a bit more comfortable speaking to me about stuff now. And there's a couple of guys I do look out for down there. So, I think they've got a lot of trainers and a lot of advice available to them, so they don't really need to be coming to me at the moment. But certainly if anyone did have any questions for me, I'd definitely be available to answer them.
To wrap this up, I have to ask you if you have any bad news that you'd like to deliver right here, right now, to the WWE Intercontinental Champion Big E prior to Extreme Rules.
I mean, I think I said it all last week on our main event show. I'm not sure if you caught that, but I basically told Big E Langston that once I win the Intercontinental Championship, the bad news I've got for Big E is that I'm going to ruin his professional career. And pretty soon he's going to be sat in the stands with the rest of the fans watching me walk around as the Intercontinental Champion. And I think not only am I going to take his title from him at Extreme Rules, I'm going to finish his career for good.
Amazing interview. Bad News Barrett, we appreciate your time. Tell everybody where they can find you on Twitter, where they can buy your merchandise, and where they can see you this weekend at Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I'll definitely be, obviously I'm on Raw and SmackDown every week. Hopefully I get myself to Extreme Rules. I've got a big match with RVD I've got to win tonight, and fingers crossed that'll put me in with Big E at Extreme Rules. But you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Wade Barrett. And merchandise-wise, I'm looking pretty slim on that at the moment. I need to convince them to give me a new T-shirt or something like that. So there's no real merchandise at the moment, unfortunately, but fingers crossed that'll come soon. But aside from that, like I say, follow me on @Wade Barrett.
Okay, amazing interview. Thank you so much for your time. But before you leave, will you give us one? I've got some bad news.
Okay. I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time,
Awesome.
Bad News Barrett. Good luck tonight and good luck at the pay-per-view if you get there.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.